finals. Of course, we are going to be your casters for this particular match. I'm Arctic. With me is Y2K, our guest caster here for today's bootcamp. So far, how's the experience been for you, man?
It's really good. Seeing the matches earlier by Chinese Taipei and Korea, really wow, especially the last game. I thought Korea have it in the bag,
Right.
but for some reason, Chinese Taipei turn things around.
Yeah, at
And-
least, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say that at least, because like we were talking about earlier, the past two games, very, very dominating performance. So
Mhm.
I think Team Korea could at least, even though they got 3-0'd, they could at least end this boot camp knowing that it's not necessarily them not being able to play up to the same level as Chinese Taipei,
Mhm.
because they did show that they can during Game 3. It's just that hopefully, this is what you were saying earlier, wherein since this is boot camp,
Mhm.
it's a great experience for all the teams to prepare for the actual AWC next month.
Mhm.
So hopefully they use this experience to hopefully maybe they'll get them next time.
All right, that would be very, very true. And I'm excited for the next match. It's the homeland
Yeah.
versus homeland, Thailand versus Thailand wild card.
Yes. So
Probably not probably the same team,
yeah.
but different strategy, but the same country that they're representing.
So it's such a shame because I guess for our home court Thailand teams out there, they would have preferred to have seen like in the finals, if this were the finals, like Thailand versus Thailand wildcard, like that would just make a whole Thai people happy. But of course, they need to face each other here in the semifinals, so only one can truly represent Thailand here at the boot camp. In which case, of course, which we will figure out right now as we head into the drafting phase for our second semifinals match for the day. Of course, a little later on during the program, Seiya and Volkan will be joining you for the battle for third and finals match. But of course, for the meantime, you have to bear with me and Y2K.
Bear with us right
Yes.
now. And still
Whether you like it or not.
the probably same bands. We have the Omen, Timmy, and Superman.
So far, pretty much reminiscent of the bands that we saw earlier. Difference, of course, this time around is it was much more emphasis on the Senial band for our previous match. This time, it's going to swap out that Senial for a Malak. So the question lies in maybe the Flash band, because that's usually been another contender for what bands we've been seeing from constant matches. But instead,
Lubu.
the Lubu.
I just noticed probably almost all of the DC characters has been banned in this game. Oh,
okay.
there we go, the Flash.
Quick switcheroo over to the Flash. So let's go ahead and see what Thailand has up for opening. Could go for a Tulin. Alice as well, since Thailand wildcard is another one of those teams which likes to use this particular hero to max efficiency.
And probably we will be seeing the usual combo of Alice and Tulin. We'll be finding out a little bit later on if Thailand wildcard will deny it.
Yes, meanwhile, Senial definitely another pick that Thailand wildcard could take away just so that they could avoid the main team from taking the classic Alice Senial double support composition. So looks like Thailand wildcard having no hesitation to take just that. Of course, other heroes that are up for the open, Wonder Woman as well as the Liliana, could be up for the taking. These have been some of the other priority picks that we've been seeing in the tournament so far.
There
Looks
you
like
go.
Wonder Woman will be that particular pick in this case.
Still, Joker is open. Violet is still open. Oh.
Interesting. So Lindis, looks like 007 gonna show us a thing or two, similar to what Neil did earlier during the
Lindis.
first match.
Lindis and Moss locking in with 007 locking with Lindis and Moss with still the usual picks.
Oh man, but so far looks like Liliana. Okay, as we've been saying earlier, since Thailand did take it for themselves, wildcard team will be taking it gladly. But okay, let's go ahead and make things easier for us and for our audience. So kind of like what me and Seiya did earlier, we'll call the the first team from Thailand the main. So it's gonna be, let's just call it the main and wildcards.
All right, better.
Okay, so wildcard team gonna go for Joker, as you
Joker.
mentioned earlier.
I really like the Joker because of his kits and his ability to just dance off the stuns or something.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the Joker is he's not your typical marksman.
Yeah.
He plays very bursty, almost like an assassin to an extent. Plus the fact that he has pick a card, any card, to make up for his lack of maneuverability, and in a way, making him a tad bit more slippery. And plus the fact that they have heroes like the Wonder Woman and Silniel makes it all the more easier to keep that distance from the rest of the main team.
And probably hovering here with a Tara together with a Tulin. So Tara, Tulin, very ironic. But still, probably mainland will get this one.
Yeah, looks like they'll be taking it indeed. Very much complementary composition. Reminiscent of what we saw earlier during match 1, actually. Complement to Tara, Tulin, Lindis. And then you have the support in the form of the Alice. So, pretty much standard draft that we're seeing here from the main team. But okay, Thailand wildcard. We're going to see some Kriknak action today.
This is really interesting. Kriknak, sneaky assassin who can jump into your face and burst you down.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned the assassin part, because Kriknak is one of those heroes which I remember like a month or two back. Some of the local teams here in the Philippines were kind of worried about whether or not they'll be playing on the patch where Kriknak gets massive buffs. More so as an assassin, less on the other route that people go for, the tank Kriknak. Usually it's much more of the assassin damage heavy Kriknak that we're seeing here, because that's the buff that he received, which makes him really scary this time around. So we'll just have to see if Thailand wildcard can utilize him to that capacity as we head into this game.
With that being said, it's still Kriknak lacking crowd control and durability. That leaves him being inferior.
Yeah, inferior to most other assassins and hero picks, which is why we don't really see as much Kriknak in the wild card, unless maybe you have some.
That's a fist bump.
Yeah, I guess it kind of reminds me of the game that we had earlier, because we had the Chinese Taipei main team versus the Chinese Taipei wild card, and since they're kind of fellow countrymen. The coaches from those teams, always gave a hug to each other for each game. So this time, looks like both coaches from Thailand want to go for the fist bumps. In which case,
if I will be the coach, for example, there's a Philippines wildcard and
Yeah.
Philippines mainland. Probably I'll do, clapping and then
Really?
the sign. Or
you're gonna, like your secret handshake.
shake a handshake or something.
I'm gonna opt for the dab. We're just gonna go like dab. But
dabbing.
anyways,
We're inside the game already. Enough of the dabbing. So I want to see that one, like a very synchronized handshake, or like the sign of good luck, or in respect to the other teams.
Yep. But so far, heading into this game right now, so Cherie facing off TAOZ here, Tara versus Silniel. Not much you could expect from this matchup. I mean, two heavy tanks here, even if we see potential ganks from junglers, unless within the earlier phases. Sure, that might be a feasible gank, but once the Tara and Silniel start to build up on items, I don't think ganks will be as possible unless it's like a full squad, like a heavy squad that's going on for a gank towards top side. So probably not as much action from these two anytime soon. But where we may be seeing some action, of course, is towards this bottom part, where, of course, Abyssal Dragon gonna be of priority within the earlier phases of this game.
Exactly, I agree with that one. And we'll probably seeing different rotations from game 1. I mean, the first game that we casted, which is the Chinese Taipei versus Korea. Probably better, hopefully better gameplay, because these teams are very well synchronized, because they're both from the mainlands, and like one mainland, one is a wildcard qualifier.
Yes. Meanwhile, it looks like Thailand kind of clumped up here, looking for an opportunity to get a pick up on that Liliana. I don't think they'll succeed, in which case, or that Joker for that matter. So
we'll probably be seeing that right there a little bit later on. An early Abyssal Dragon for the mainland.
yeah, that was a very fast take.
Oh, someone will be caught up right now. Kit is being kited right now. Very ironic, Kit being kited.
But so far, man, great take coming in from Thailand. That was a very fast Abyssal Dragon take, not to mention. But then again, I guess you could attribute it to the fact that Romeo, Lindis, Tulin, all very efficient heroes in the early game, even as early as the laning phase, has quite the optimal damage that they can deal. So no surprises right there, but still looking very equal. Different pace here that we're seeing. We've been seeing attempts to get a few minor scratches onto either side, but we haven't even seen anything that has led to these fuller on fights that would have otherwise resulted to casualties. Both sides just boning their time well, actually.
Oh no, KSSA being caught up and burst damage right now. First blood.
Okay.
Boss.
I stand corrected. That's going to be the pickoff right there. More here towards the top side, though.
Here we go. We have the pesky bug getting the kill.
Okay, so that's definitely a good move by the Thailand wildcard here, just because... Oh,
Needs to be careful right now. This is 3 versus 2. They don't have any the fighting kits yet, but they have the assassination courtesy of that kicknap.
yeah, meanwhile, it's like Thailand going to force the pressure here towards the upper side of the map. And interesting enough, here towards the bot side, wildcard actually going to make good work of this turret, seeing all the numbers committed towards that upper side.
It's still... Golden is not really moving, or what should we call this? The deficit is not, it's not too far.
Yep.
Especially, both of them have the respective objectives that they got. So, still fair. But the bad side about this one is it probably extending on that
Yep.
lane. Meanwhile, right now, ooh, instantly deleted. Oh, 007, you're not James Bond. You're being caught right now.
Yeah, man, you have to respect the assassination potential from that quick knock. Not to mention, oh man, that was way too much of an overstay by the main team, because not one but 2 turrets taken towards the bot side for wildcard, and this in effect allows wildcard to have much more heavy control over this Abyssal Dragon. So not a good start here for the main team whatsoever, but all the more happiness for the wildcard team.
How will the main team answer back with the wildcards doing? We'll be finding out in a short bit if they figure out how they will counter the rotation of the wildcard. Meanwhile, speaking of that one, Cherie, it might be in bit trouble right now, being chased by TAOZ and KSS. I don't know what I call you, KSSA, right now with that laughing gas, but it's not enough. 007 is bit trouble right now. They will get 007. Again, jumping inside the fight. Cherie, what are you doing? It's you tanky, but you're not being considered right now by wildcard.
Yep, wildcard not considering the damage output. Kit is just on fire on this Cricknack 301 standing, and he could just easily pick off any target he wants from the Thailand main team. And you know what's unfortunate here is that we were talking about how Cherie could be a bit of a pain on this tower, wouldn't be the easiest target to take down, but he's not really at that point yet. And this Tara, if ever going to be faced by that Cricknack, it's going to be an easy target to shred through. Just given
right now securing another one, and both of the buffs probably wanting to have the burst that he needs, especially looking at the item of the Joker right now. Probably really scary if he will go for, I think this is, I forgot the item. I'm sorry about that. But with the armor pierce,
right,
like I usually build that for Superman and Batman.
Which, for the Cricknack? Was that it? Or the...
No, the Jokers.
Oh, for the Joker. I think that's World Breaker.
Rank Breaker.
Rank Breaker, there you
Rank
go.
Breaker.
So, yeah, very typical build. Get that pierce early on and makes for an easier shred, easier damage onto the members of the main team from Thailand. So, but...
Probably scouting here.
Kit ready for another pickoff.
Oh no, they knew Cherie's inside! And that would be an easy kill.
Oh man, that was way too much damage that Cherie couldn't really deal with. I mean, a fed Cricknack plus the Joker as well, who's starting to amp up. And what an early Dark Slayer take from Thailand wildcard, but they pretty much knew that they were in the easy position to take it, just because Thailand just revealed moments earlier that they were around the Abyssal Dragon pit.
Exactly, and seeing right now getting the Abyssal Dragon from the main team, but they answer back with the Dark Slayer.
Oh man, this is big for wildcard. Definitely not the best case scenario for the main team so far, especially since, by expectation, since they are the main team, people would think that shouldn't it be them at least, leading the fray for this first game, but that's not really the case. I mean, just very definitive so far from Thailand wildcard, and they were able to, basically it's very textbook what you want to accomplish here. If you're able to get that Cricknack to snowball within the earlier phases, it would be smooth sailing from there. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
No being seen right now. Moss deleted again with kick with the Cricknack. Oh, ironic again, Cricknack. Still a fed bug like him. It's really annoying. Like, you can really burst out anyone in your path, especially with the early Longina Spear.
Oh, this is becoming a tragedy for the main team. They have no answer to dealing with that Cricknack. Okay, let's go ahead and check out what tools they could potentially have.
Oh no, with that Wonder Woman, Romeo going inside again, securing another kill for their team.
Man, is this going to be an early finish for the wild card team, because the pace of this game is just way too fast for us to even keep up with, and it's just wild card that's steamrolling through this game. Are they going to get an early high ground? That would be pretty impressive if they do. It's like, not yet though.
Yeah, the Dark Slayer buff has already been diminished. Meanwhile, Cherie again being caught up. The rest of the team followed. TAOZ jumping inside. Again, Kit being a pain. And the main team right now.
Yeah, oh man. Thailand, meanwhile, okay, Kit's going to go forward, Mike Golem here, while the rest of the wildcard team just going to constantly push for pressure across this lanes. Take note of the nice spread that they have, just so that Thailand here, the main team, kind of forced to choose, okay, which lane do we defend? Oh, man.
Burst, Drewwy is being bursted, but, oh, there we go, a kill, courtesy, this is probably the opportunity they need, but TAOZ is really tanky as of the moment.
Oh man, look, just like that. They have to back away. Drewwy having gotten taken down there. But so far, definitely looking pretty good, pretty definitive for the wild card. Mainland Thailand losing out on their high ground towards the top side. So that's pressure that they have to deal with. Luckily, not the Dark Slayer lane though. So they don't lose out on too much pressure towards that buff. Or yeah, actually Dark Slayer lane, rather. It's actually Abyssal Dragon that they still have control, but that's not really... Abyssal Dragon doesn't really hold as much value in the later parts of the game. Probably more so for main, just because they want to take every single opportunity they can to try to climb back into this game. Because
they know right now, Kit.
Ooh,
jumping inside, then again, burst damage. Kit, Cricknack, it's really annoying right now. And he wants more. TAOZ tanking with that 2 for none, but Cherie needs to be careful. Oh no, this might be a bad news for him. Bursted down, KSSA and Kit.
Oh, let's go ahead and see what's happening here. Thailand wildcard making a maneuver towards this mid lane. So will they be able to close out here though? From what we're seeing, your main team putting up a defense. Let's see how long they could last.
Again, Kit jumping inside. Very annoying, legendary already for Kit, but he is stuck. Probably. Oh, almost. He survived with the skin of his teeth right there.
Ooh. Interesting right here. So looks like, at least for the main team, they were able to successfully defend their high ground in the mid lane before Wildcard was able to do some major damage and otherwise further limit the main team. So a little bit of breathing room for them, in all fairness, but still a far way to go before they're actually able to get onto equal ground with the wildcard team.
You know, like seeing the items from wildcard, yes, they're really ahead right now, but probably seeing at the main team, they're all building HP items as of the moment.
Okay. A little bit of a slower pace that we're seeing here. Wildcard not able to close out as fast, but then again, it's because of the main team playing it, trying to turtle it out until the later parts, which they definitely should at this point. Try to slow down the game until such time that they manage to build up on items themselves, although slowly but surely getting there. Because if you look at the main focus of power here for Wildcard, which is a little bit of a relief for the main team, it's mostly focused on Kit as well as TAOZ. Drewwy and KSSA, even though being key carries themselves a little bit more near where the gold leads are. Well, the gold is for each individual member of Thailand. Still a bit sizable in difference, but at least, like I mentioned, the main team, they want to take advantage of what they can at this point, given the lead that Wildcard has in. Just a bit of optimism there.
I understand that. I understand, but I think the main team have still like coins in their bag that can turn things around. But the thing here is they're not really overextending. It's such that the damage input of Wildcard, it's very, very large.
Yep.
As of the moment, and they will get the Dark Slayer possible. This is the last wave of team fights that we will be seeing. Let's see how the main team will hold their bars for now.
Yeah, looks like they're holding out quite well in which case, but with Wildcard securing Dark Slayer, this could be their moment. This could be the moment of truth. Can the main team hold out? Looks like Wildcard really intent on wanting to take down another high ground here. It looks like they have their eyes on the mid lane.
I'm not really seeing the Tulin in action.
Yep.
Especially with the combo Alice. But at the same time, ooh, Cherie doing his job right now, tanking, but Kit just waiting for opportunity. He's now flying. But still, they will fend off for now just to take some waves for faster pushing.
Yes, holding out as much as they can.
Romeo with that shield right now. Doesn't really want to commit.
Yep. TAOZ able to get some decent heal onto the members of the Wildcard team. But so far, main team is doing quite well at playing turtle on their base, not allowing Wildcard easy access to those high grounds. But
oh, Cherie needs to be careful right now. KSSA is also dealing damage from afar. TAOZ jumping inside, and probably that will be a kill. Not really that overextending, but probably he's confident that jumping inside will probably help.
Yeah,
like
but
turning their tides.
Wildcard there, I'm kind of surprised at that point, since I think they overstayed their welcome on their turret. They should have maybe prioritized the high ground first before turning for a fight, because that turret stood for so long and still does. And ooh,
lapping gas, Rocket, the team got the kill. Right now, Romeo is in distinct trouble right now. And with that help of the middle tower, it's not enough. This is probably the window that the main team is having or needed right now.
Yeah, even with the heavy gold difference, looks like main team back on track, in which case we're starting to reach these later parts in the game we're in. Even though by gold, Thailand Wildcard might be ahead, but wouldn't really matter because, like I mentioned, main team, all they needed to do was turtle long enough until such time they build up on items themselves, and looks like they're starting to reach that point where they could start going toe-to-toe with Wildcard. Although, undeniably, Wildcard still has an advantage because of the lead that they have, but it's not as definitive as earlier, even with still a bit of a heavy difference. 10k, sure, that is still in respect to Wildcard, but then again, even struggling to close out, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Probably the main team needs to see what the Wildcard team is lacking. Especially when they're seeing Kit going around, that may be an opportunity for them to peel him as much as possible to deny damage from the Wildcard team. But I think the main team is doing right now is to fend up temporarily, dealing as much damage as they can dish in a certain distance.
Great.
And then when the time comes, they will just jump inside courtesy of the Taura.
Oh man, meanwhile, looks like Thailand Wildcard still looking for an opportunity, but like I mentioned, main team mounting a great defense here. Take note, high grounds are looking pretty low, so I think Wildcard should act now in taking down those turrets pronto.
Oh no, the turret has been taken finally, and probably another one. The rest is low. Just TAOZ just jumping outside of the box.
Yeah. Oh no, okay.
Oh, one more hit of any sources. Oh, the flicker out. Right there by Romeo. Romeo is in distinct trouble right now. That will not save you. TAOZ right now is also in deep trouble. Oh, a lot of shield will just fend off his teammates for now. That would be a 2 for none.
Wow, that was way too much of an overstep by Romeo. He had no business trying to reinitiate onto the members of the main team. Plus, like you mentioned, the members of Wildcard were starting to dwindle in terms of health bars, while main team, because they were near their base, was able to. Some of the members were able to regenerate, get ready for round 2, and great flank coming in from Cherie as well, just so that the members from the backline wouldn't be able to deal relevant damage. And just like that, main team able to push a high ground. This is big for them.
It's really big. That's what we were talking about earlier. Seeing the mistakes.
Oh man, this is gonna be crazy.
Seeing the mistakes of the wildcard, especially overextending of Romeo in that time. I think there's really no business for him reinitiating. That's right. And TAOZ with the follow-up. But they are being fend up by the rest of the Thailand. I mean the main team.
Whew,
what matters in that fight? All of the damage dealers from Wildcard being saved for now.
And meanwhile, looks like it's still Thailand Wildcard trying to at least take camps so that Thailand couldn't continue to build up. But I think like I mentioned, we're already late game. Doesn't really matter. Both teams already equaling in item build up, so it really comes down to who trips first in these team fights. I mean, it's just more of a challenge for the main team, sure, because they were able to push up, lose out on their high ground and the top and bot respectively. But when it comes to those bigger team fights, that's going to be their window of opportunity right now, especially if Wildcard does misplace like they did earlier, where it premature initiates or initiates that shouldn't even be happening anymore. They try to push for.
And again, it's anybody's ball game. Whichever team aces the other team, this might be a game for them already.
Ooh, looks like Wildcard
looking very
wow.
sneaky.
Not a bad play by TAOZ, able to take down that mid turret, while the rest of the Wildcard making sure that they don't surrender control of this Dark Slayer to the main team.
Probably the opportunity is inside because they don't have any tanks that will absorb the damage. They will start off with Romeo, and then all things loose right now. Moss and Cherie will be in trouble right now, but the rest of the wildcard is inside, is just dealing decent amount of damage right now, but Romeo will go down courtesy of 007, and another kill courtesy of them. Need to be careful right now. Oh, that would be a resurrection shut down already courtesy of the main team. And again, TAOZ, you are tanky, but in this case, you are not. Double killed by MeMarkz, but very, very sneaky Kit. I think I know what is in his mind right now. He wants to backdoor.
Yes, but unfortunately, Kit wasn't able to do just that. And if anything, that's the thing. Kit tried to go for a split push, but you have to take note that that Cricknack was an integral part of why the wild card was winning out on a lot of these fights in the first place. And as a result, seeing that the Cricknack was far off was pretty much the go signal for the main team to go for it. And just like that, they're going to take Dark Slayer. This could be a massive reversal that we could see Y2K if the main team plays their cards right within the next few minutes.
And from a big gold deficit, look at the gold deficit right now. 2,000.
Whew. That is pretty darn big, but still, wildcard, they just need to get their bearings. He'll try to last out until such time Dark Slayer goes down, and that could be their chance to go for it once again. Not to mention, like I mentioned, hopefully Cricknack just goes back to taking down those key targets like he does in those bigger team fights, because losing out on the Cricknack is such a cripple for the wildcard team as is.
I agree. And probably this is the opportunity that the main team needs. Especially, they are now nearing the high grounds. What will the wild card needs to do? Seeing that multiple shields, I don't know what will be like the consequence of this one. Especially, where's the Cricknack? Oh, the Cricknack, sneaky, really sneaking up. But
luckily,
it's Cherie.
Yeah,
seeing that door opening, probably for a back door. Yeah, that's wisely back down.
That's the unfortunate thing about the main team right here, even though they want to try to go for sieges, try to go for pressure of their own, they still have to take into account of the heavy minion waves pushing it towards the top lane, towards the bot lane. And at the end of the day, that just makes things all the more trickier for them, even though at this point in the game, they could go head-to-head with the wildcard team in fights.
I agree. And on the part that there's opportunity for a backdoor, especially all of the lanes are exposed to the base,
Yep.
which can anytime perish if in any case Tricknack will be joining a minion wave.
Great.
And again, he's dealing a decent amount of damage with the item, with the rank breaker and the Longin Spear.
What I wasn't a fan of earlier when Kit was pushing it towards the mid lane is, I mean, it was high ground for high ground. So, like, the waves pretty much matched each other in terms of power. I feel like it would have been much more efficient if maybe he pushed out towards bot side, but oh no!
Bursted down again. This is probably the door that the wildcard team is needing. Double kill already secured by KSSA. And again, KSSA is just marching forward, not scared. But Remix is in for a trap right now. Remix is in the bitter trouble right now. And that would be probably one kill. KSSA will drop with that one. But again, Remix. Again, Kid bursting down. And this would be the opportunity that they need. Cherie, what are you doing? You're inside again. And that would be a game set already for the wild card.
Yep, GG well played. Just like that, it's going to be the Thailand wildcard. Took a while, but they'll be taking game one against the main team of Thailand. GG well played indeed.
Look at the reaction of the main team. If you can see the camera below.
Ooh.
Like they are there. They are winning. All of a sudden, a certain pick-off that changes the pace of the game.
And man, just overall though, good job by Wildcard. Definitely had a dominating start to their game. Like I mentioned, took a while for them to go for the finish, but yeah, just like you mentioned, just that one fight wherein Wildcard was able to get the necessary pickoffs that they need, and that was ultimately the Thailand main team's downfall right there. Let's go ahead and check out the stats here, in which case, like we mentioned, no surprise, Kit definitely the superstar in that game. So we'll just have to see if the main team from Thailand can go for the next. Hopefully we could see the main team mount a comeback, in which case.
Alright, so yeah, seeing here, especially the item picks, like they tried to fulfill the burst damage of Kit, but probably it's not enough, and they took the advantage of